was convinced that anyone who was a woman that was dating a man was probably gonna date a woman at some point, or that man could just date a man tomorrow. I have never known heteronormativity to be the norm.
And that's your truth.
And that's my truth, right? So that's my natural bias. My natural bias is absolutely different from what you have just said.
100%.
But again, that is my natural bias. I also have never had monogamous parents. That doesn't mean that I think all relationships should be non-monogamous. I have decided I am a human being with a brain, and I can figure out what I want and what I don't want, or what I think will make me happy and what won't. I don't have to be gay because my parents are gay. I'm a person who is autonomous, and I am not them. I'm not living in the world that they lived in.
I love that.
It doesn't matter. They can teach me anything. Anyone can teach me something. But I have a brain, and I can question things. I can question, if I go to church, why is it that we are speaking about other people's sins when we're all sinners in the same room? Why is it that we can talk about them and not talk about our sins? Why is it? I can ask why anything. And that's the point. You grow up. You grow out of, yes, I accept everything. And if you are that kind of person, that's cool, but you're probably going to be miserable for a while because the world is transforming at a really rapid rate, and closed-minded people are being attacked because it just doesn't work. Hatred is not working anymore. Hatred used to be useful. At a point, it was useful for people who needed to control things.
It lines people's pockets.
It lines people's pockets in a lot of ways, but also it worked because there was no real connection between society where we could all say, no, man, this is wrong. Now, if you do something wrong, chances are someone's going to get it on camera and put it on Twitter, and you are going to be called out. And that's what transformation in society is doing. And it's becoming something that's unstoppable because you can't control what people say on the internet. You can't control what people do, but you can control yourself and how you think.
True.
And that's really what it is. It's like, no one's saying disregard history. History is important because we learn from it. But history also contains mistakes, and history also contains things that are not okay. So we can't just say, well, that's what history was, and that's how things were. So should I just be discarding it now because black people are in my office now when they weren't? No. Learn from it. Yes, it existed. Yes, it happened. Yes, you didn't have to sit in a meeting with this black girl, but now you do. And this black girl has things to say, and you will listen because I didn't get you because I'm black. I got you because
I'm qualified. 100%. And I love the point that you made. At some point in your life, regardless of how you were raised, what you were taught, it's on you to make a decision.
Yeah.
It's on you to look at the world and say, okay, my parents taught me this. I've experienced this. This is what I subscribe to now.
Yeah.
I might not be gay, but doesn't mean I hate gay people.
Mm-hmm.
I might be gay, doesn't mean I hate everyone who's not gay. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a disconnect between people having their values and accepting that other people have their own values. I think the war comes when I have my values and I want to impose that.
But that's the thing, is that people who impart biases call them values. People who inflict wars and genocides, people who spark those things, people who spark hatred, they'll never call it hatred. They will say, as South Africans, we should be angry at these people. They will say, as this tribe, we should be angry at those people. They will use things about you that are fundamental to create or to spark hatred in you. And those are not values. They'll say they are, but they aren't. Values are not biases.
Values are, in my opinion, a belief.
Yeah.
If I believe that this is the color black, if I believe that Hinduism, if I believe in Christianity, if I believe in Buddhism, it comes with a whole shopping cart of values.
So yeah,
so,
those
for
are
example,
rules. Those are rules that you would like to stick to, right?
Not necessarily rules, right? A rule is do this or this will happen. Mm-hmm. If you break a rule, there's a punishment. Mm-hmm. A value is this is what you stand for.
Okay.
For example, if Simon is my brother and someone murders Simon. See, what am I going to say? My value system doesn't allow for me to sit and do nothing when my loved ones are hurt. So in my retaliation, people will say that's hatred, that's evil. You shouldn't revenge is for God. You shouldn't go out and turn the other cheek. But you see, from my perspective, I am defending a value that has been infringed on. So retaliation is validated by my value system when a line has been crossed, for example. So it's hard to box values as one thing because it's how someone operates. It's not so much a rule book.
Yes, so I agree with you. It's not a rule book. It is how someone operates. But in the same breath, and I love that you used the example of you believe that that's black, and that is a color, right? So this is a color, and you know that only because someone said it was.
True.
If someone had taught you that this is red, that's what you're going to believe. And when you go outside and other people don't believe that, you will be frustrated. But if it harms other people, then you need to think about it. So there are people who are brought into this world and taught everybody with brown skin is less than you. That's now what they think is their values. That's what they think is
but it
right
is their
in their
values.
mind. It is their values, right? And they will then walk around treating other people in a certain way. And I don't know what your values are, but I am someone who believes that if something that I believe is harmful to other people, it doesn't make me feel good. And not everyone feels that way. Everyone feels very strongly about whatever they've been taught to believe. And people who are radical, people who are racist, people who are homophobic, believe they're standing for something.
Exactly.
A lot of people who have a certain hatred towards a concept, a thing, a type of person, a race, believe that they have the right to feel that way because they've been taught that it's okay. There is always a reason that they think that because someone taught them that somewhere along the way.
But now someone will take your statement and say, if you feel that someone is wrong, what right do you have to define what is right? Because to
what
them...
What right do any one of us have?
Exactly,
None of us put each other on this planet. We found each other here.
But that's why as human beings, we group together into what we call communities, right?
Yeah.
You believe what I believe, you agree with what I agree with, you come from the same neighborhood. Okay, so we can bunch a community because we all share a common value system, right?
And if we always stick to that, when will we ever, in a world where we don't exist only in our communities, we exist outside with other people in other communities, how does that work out? Because you're going to clash with someone somewhere.
We barter. We say, okay, I don't agree with 2 of your values, but I agree with 3.
Well, that would be great if that's what people did, but people don't do that.
But look,
they're saying it's my way or not.
But look at South Africa.
Well,
South Africa is like
an outlier.
It is an outlier, but it's the perfect example of compromise between communities. In the sense where it's the rainbow nation, but there's a whole lot of racism still. But the people who are racist towards each other brush shoulders together to say, okay, this is gonna get me cancelled, but I'm a white man. I'm Dutch, but I consider myself South African. This is my land. My kids are gonna inherit this land, and that's what it is. Now, the Xhosa person will say, "Are you out of your mind? You guys killed people to be here. You don't belong here." So he'll say, "Well, my community acknowledges that this is the past. Your community acknowledges that you've been wrong. How can we compromise so that our communities can coexist for the well-being of the economy?" So we're now in a cesspool of various communities who are in contention with each other, but there is a sense of normalcy because of the compromise in, I don't agree with your value system, but we can share this space. Because when you're going to have kids, they're not going to see the difference. That's why we have white girls and black boys coming together and mixing everything, because the generational gap is almost a cure. But without the compromise, there will never be a meeting of different views.
So I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't think the fact that people of all races being allowed to be in the same space, changes the dynamic at all. It doesn't change the status quo. I can be in the office and I can be in a boardroom with a bunch of white men, but they're going to ignore me because that's what they've been doing forever, and because they cannot undo their biases in their mind. You can say what you want about white people dating black people now, and that's happening. You can say what you want about us being able to go into the same shopping centers, into the same spas, into the same anything right now. But it doesn't change that a white person in that room can look at me and feel like I don't belong or deserve to
Let me
be
flip,
there.
let me Uno reverse you on that statement. So you're in a room with two white men. One subscribes to that WhatsApp group. She's lesser, she's a brown girl, we don't need to pay too much attention to her, but she adds value to the business somewhere, BEE, so she has to be here. And then you get the other white male who's actually progressive, who agrees with you and says, no, she's here because she's more qualified than all of you old white men. You're now faced with a dilemma.
Not really.
Because are you going to bunch them all together because they're white?
Absolutely not, and that's the point. The point is that we're all different. I don't take anyone as a group because nobody really is.
Nice.
Everybody is autonomous. People are not all the same. And I'm saying that because I have never seen people as one group, because the amount of different people I've experienced is vast. I am shocked when I see a bunch of people that look the same, walk the same, talk the same. It makes me uncomfortable because that's weird. You guys are lying. Yeah, you're lying and you are not being who
Authentic,
you are.
yeah.
You're not authentic. And that's what I feel about the corporate space, is that we kind of have to all look a certain way, talk a certain way, dress a certain way. And I don't think that's true. We are not computers. If we were computers, it would be great. But the point is we're people. We're people who go home and have different values, like you just said. We're people who like different things. I don't like the gray suit or the black suit.
You're a divergent and you're a threat to the system.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the economic system, the way it's structured, is so that so that the system has robots, right?
So the system is not going to work out because the people who are keeping it alive are 100 years old.
But the fact that the majority of the workforce in South Africa is 9 to 5, it still shows that the system still has a long way before it stops working.